What if I told you that an old, dirty, 1967 Washington quarter dollar, the one almost everyone thinks is just 25 cents, could shock the coin world, smashing records and selling for $290,000 or even over $1 million? That's exactly the mystery we're diving into today, because this unassuming quarter hides secrets that could make you rich. The 1967 Washington quarter isn't just another coin. This was a transitional year in U.S. coinage. The United States Mint was dealing with a nationwide coin shortage in the mid-1960s, and from 1965 to 1967, they stopped using mint marks to discourage hoarding. That means every quarter from 1967 Philadelphia, Denver, San Francisco didn't carry that little letter telling you where it was made. It also means collectors later went nuts trying to find something unique hidden among billions of otherwise ordinary pieces. Most 1967 quarters you see in circulation today are worth exactly what they say, 25 cents. They've been handled, pocketed, washed, eaten by dogs, and buried in sock drawers for decades. But not all of them are equal. Some carry errors and anomalies, little mistakes made during the minting process that can dramatically raise their collector value. That's where the mystery begins. One of the first error types collectors hunt for is the double die variety. In the die-making process, if the hubbing step where the design is impressed on the die shifts slightly between impressions, the die can have a ghost image overlaying the main one. That results in letters or designs that look split or doubled. Some 1967 quarters display this on the front, called double die obverse, and some on the back, double die reverse, and to the trained eye those coins can be instantly recognizable under magnification. On typical error price guides, these varieties can fetch hundreds of dollars depending on how dramatic the doubling is and the overall condition of the coin. There are also off-center strikes, where the coin is struck slightly off its planchet and part of the design is cut off. These misalignments can range from a tiny sliver to dramatic blank areas, and the more off-center, the higher the collector premium can be, because they're visually striking and uncommon. Similarly, clipped planchets where a portion of the coin blank was accidentally cut off before striking can command a premium if the clipped area is large and the coin is otherwise attractive. These error types frequently show values in the low hundreds of dollars if authenticated and graded. Some collectors claim to have found even rarer varieties coins struck on wrong planchets, like a quarter accidentally struck on a dime or nickel blank, and coins with missing clad layers, where the outer metal layer fails to bond properly and reveals the copper core beneath. These are dramatic to the eye and can fetch higher premiums, often in the hundreds to low thousands, but it's crucial to have such coins authenticated by a reputable grading service like PCGS or NGC, because there are many look-alikes and mistakes made by inexperienced collectors. Now here's where the rumor mill gets loud. Some people online have claimed that if a 1967 quarter were ever discovered that was struck on a 90% silver planchet leftover blanks from before 1965, it could be worth enormous money, maybe even tens or hundreds of thousands of dollars, or more. There's no documented case of such a coin selling for $155,000 to $290,000, or $1.5 million at a major auction, but the idea persists because the coin shouldn't exist at all. If one ever showed up and was authenticated, it would instantly become one of the most talked about modern U.S. errors ever discovered. So why are 1967 quarters so mysterious? Part of it is that the year sits at a crossroads in U.S. coinage history. The end of the classic silver era just 2 years earlier, the omission of mint marks, the introduction of special mint sets instead of traditional proofs, and a huge overall mintage. That combination means that while billions were made, the number of dramatic errors that survived is tiny, and there's plenty of room for discovery. Some examples of special strikes in extremely high mint state grades like MS68 or Cameo finishes have sold for thousands at auction, with some rarities breaking into the mid-five-figure range in quality condition. But let's be clear, verified auction records for actual 1967 Washington quarters rarely go above $8,000 to $10,000, even for the highest grades or special finishes that have traded publicly. Claims of six-figure and million-dollar prices are fantasies unless tied to a graded coin that can be independently confirmed through big auction houses. Nonetheless, the possibility of such a discovery is exactly why collectors obsessively search rolls, boxes, and change for this coin. So how do you identify one of these rare 1967 quarter errors yourself? First, get a good 10 times loop or magnifying glass to inspect the lettering and design details. Look for signs of separation on letters like Liberty, Indiana God We Trust, and the date that's the hallmark of doubled dies. For off-center or clipped planchet errors, examine the rim and overall shape. Is the design cut off or shifted? For missing clad layer errors, check weight and color. The underlying copper core will look reddish and weigh slightly less than a normal clad quarter. Any coin suspected of being extremely rare should then be submitted for grading, because a professional certification is almost always required to get top dollar at auction. Speaking of auction results, some of the most notable 1967 Washington quarters to sell in recent years did so not because they were worth massive figures, but because they were unusually high grade or unusual finish varieties. For example, Deep Cameo and Cameo SMS examples in MS-68 condition have fetched several $1,000s when well preserved and slabbed by PCGS or NGC. High-grade regular strikes can also command strong prices when certified, simply because very few survivors from this high mintage year remain in pristine condition. In the end, the 1967 Washington quarter is a coin that looks ordinary but carries a world of mystery beneath its surface. Millions were minted, most worth face value, but the tiny fraction that show strong errors, dramatic planchet flaws, or incredible condition have a dedicated following of collectors willing to pay strong premiums for them. Who knows? Maybe the next life-changing coin is sitting forgotten in someone's pocket change right now. If you find a dirty old 1967 quarter that doesn't quite look right, don't clean it aggressively. Don't assume it's worthless, and definitely consider having it professionally examined. You never know, that unassuming quarter might be worth a whole lot more than everyone thinks.